Hello and welcome. I am No Coffee, No Life, and today we're doing something a little different than normal. We are solidly, as you can see, from the ground in Toxic Valley, and we are technically near a pre-existing location. Today's camp is going to be built right next to Wavy Willards water park. Now you may be wondering how that's going to happen, since Bethesda does a pretty good job of keeping you from camping near major locations in the game, but it's possible, even if Bethesda wants to curb our fun in building. So let's get started on this expansion. Alright, so to get this close, you're going to have to open up your camp module and run on in to this northwest corner. This is as close as you can get to Wavy Willards to build. Too close to the wall and it'll start going red. You're going to have to pull back, and sometimes it won't pop back to green, so you might have to restart this process. But about here is where you will be able to set down your camp, about here. And I set mine already, and I'm going to set it a second time so you can see that the camp module will actually place here with a little bit of adjustment. The first thing you need to build at this site is the foundation for the water slide. You can do this by freely placing the foundations, or you can make a blueprint of the foundations. It's going to be 5 by 2, and you only really need to place 2 foundation pieces on either end of that line of 5 foundations. So here's what your foundation should look like. I added an additional 2 to the left side so that the decking would extend out and cover that corner of the water slide, so that no gaps appear between the bottom of the water slide and the uneven terrain. Using foundation this way makes it far easier to put a large object like this slide down, especially at distance, so that you can actually see if the object is in the right position and not at an odd angle to the foundations. I run all my power for this build along the back end of these foundations so that you don't see it crisscrossing across the entire camp. It makes it a lot easier to manage all the wiring that way for the camp. I'm going to make a concession stand over here to the right of the slide, and it will look as close as possible to the concession stands and game booths that you see in the park. I don't have the tent awning that you'll see there. I think there's one that sells in the Atom shop with the Vault Tech bundle, but it's pretty ugly, and I have no intention of purchasing it because I'd rather earn or buy a plan that looks like something already existing in game. You know, if you have it, you can probably recreate it, but I don't, so do what makes you happy. I have merged these toys onto the shelf so that we can put it as our backdrop to this concession stand. It's pretty, simple to do with the pressure plate and the small generator. Just keep in mind that if you do use that trick to merge items, you may have to reset the pressure plate because it does stop working every now and then, and you have to basically store it and then bring it back out again, connect it to the generator, then continue merging your items. Now that we have our souvenir shelf in place, let's get the camp all put back together again, because I have a lot of stuff that's been destroyed so that I can fit other things inside of it. I'll get rid of this flooring really quick. Make sure, it all looks even. And we are going to run over here. You can see I put a little shooting gallery over here. It's pretty simple. I don't think I have to show you guys. You should be able to figure it out. Now let's repair everything. Get it all done, and 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Here is the completed build. The camp, which is basically a baby water park, nestled up next to the original destroyed water park. Now, I've used a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily come from either of the Wavy Willards packs. Obviously, I have the walls and the slide, but I'm using a lot of the tables and stuff that are in-game, like those old beat-up umbrella tables. Let's start with the ticket booth. That's going to be here on the right. I'm using that CD shed to function as the booth where people will be selling tickets to get into this lovely little park. You can see the person who sells tickets lives in here, has a little bed, and has their table with a register. I'm going to turn around and look at the lovely restroom area. and the changing area, a little baby changing area, because it's a small space. Can't fit too much in here. And the completed concession stand with our attendants wearing masks for your safety. And the seating area and some entertainment for the adults. Yes, thank you, Doctor. And now we will be going up the stairs to see the rooms and the slide itself. On the first level, I put in a first aid area for anybody who has any injuries from the slide or anything else in the park. And here's our doctor again. He's making a visit. I have everything decked out in here so that it looks like a little first aid station area where people can rest. And we're going to go to the second floor, which is the employees only area where, you know, towels are laundered over here. I finally earned these, the washer and dryer section. And the rest of the area is just kind of a holding bay for things that are broken or maybe need to be fixed by another employee. There's another bed there for somebody to sleep in. Now we're going to go to the slide, which is at the topmost platform, the third platform. This structure actually gives you a lot of space, and if you wanted to make it your entire camp and just have a few outlying things, you probably could, because it gives you two fairly decently sized rooms right off the bat that you don't have to build. They're just built in. And oh, by the way, this slide glitches. Not all the time, but enough that it's kind of annoying sometimes to, you know, repeatedly go down the slide. Even though I like the animation, it's a little annoying. So just keep that in mind if you own the slide. And here's another seating area. I'm using these really beat up umbrella tables, and our shooting range, which I've cluttered up. I'm using those arm race shooting ranges from the previous season, and some benches for spectators to watch all the fun at the range. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I enjoyed making this mini water park, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you like what you see here and you like the builds that I make, click on subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're aware when new videos release. But until next time, happy building in the wasteland. Gonna burn stuff. Oh, no, thank you. Not gonna get me this time.